Since we're not getting any news on a Sunday, I thought I'd do a price video just to take a look to see what's been going on. I know that price is the last thing that we want to talk about, especially with these market conditions, because we don't really know when we're going to recover, if we're going to recover in a month or two, or if it's going to take much longer, possibly before the end of this year or even into next year if we are moving towards a bear market. But we should still take a look at it and see what's been going on to see where could we be going. To be honest, I'm not really going to do like a technical analysis video because we don't have enough data to do any TA, especially not on GLMR or on ACA, which I will be talking about in today's video. Mostly, I'll take a look at KSM as well after. But I wanted to talk about GLMR, so that's Moonbeam for the people that don't know. Well, the Take Flight event participants are due to get their tokens on the 20th of February. Which means that we are going to be experiencing a further dump in price. There's no doubt about it. It's not a question of if it will happen. It's a question of yes, it will happen, and how much will we drop? That's the question that we should be asking ourselves. Because even if in Telegram groups, supporters will tell you, no, I'm never selling, I'm holding to the moon. I've seen that with Moonriver myself in the Moonriver unofficial channels. People are constantly posting, I'm never selling. But in the end, maybe it's not those people selling, but other people are selling, because obviously we saw the huge dump it took from almost 500 or even above 500, because it did break that on some exchanges, to under $70, right? So the dump was absolutely humongous. It had happened. Again, you can blame it on the market, you can blame it on Bitcoin, but still, Moonriver has taken a huge plunge. So GLMR is going to be the same. I know that we're seeing here a constant dump. These are the Crowdloan participants probably selling because they're getting the daily unlocks. But on the 20th of February is when the Take Flight participants bought in at 25 cents per token and are getting their tokens fully unlocked to be able to sell. Think about it. There were 3 different rounds. Some of those people were able to get into only 1 round. Some were able to get into 2 rounds. It was quite difficult, but for Moonriver participants, it was easier to get into 1 round for sure. I think that was the guaranteed round, the very first one, and then they could have gotten into the other 2 rounds as well, or one of the other 2 rounds, if they would have participated there as well. So, I mean, think about it, right? They could have bought, I think it was $2,500 worth of GLMR tokens that they could have bought, okay, at 25 cents each. So that's 10,000 GLMR that they can sell. That's each person can sell into the market. Just think about that for a moment. Let that sink in, okay? 10,000 GLMR here. Think about having 10,000 GLMR dump into this order here, just into this order alone. As you can see, this is only showing 3,700 GLMR here. Okay, that would take the price to about 590 here. Again, we can modify this if we want, just to make it easier. So let's see here. So let's see that 10 people would sell all their GLMR, right? So if 10 people sell their GLMR and they would dump into the market, okay, that's 100,000 GLMR as the sum here. We could dump down to 440 on a week. Okay, this is just 10 people selling their unlocked tokens. Okay, this is just to help you understand the power that the community has if they want to sell, and if they're heavy bag holders. Okay, so those people thinking we're gonna go to $10, I mean, it's delusional. Let me tell you, it's delusional. It's hard to think about something like that when they bought in at 25 cents. With these market conditions, people are desperate for profit, I can tell you that. They don't care about the moon. They know the moon is going to come at a different point, but for now they want the profit. So even if they don't sell everything, even if they sell some, then yeah, I mean, it's still going to dump no matter how you look at it. So anybody buying in now is potentially going to get hurt, actually will get hurt, but they have to hold for the long run. I mean, if they want to buy in and hold for the long run, then they don't really care about the short-term price movement. But I am telling you, right, if I was you, I would hold my horses until the 20th of February, wait for the dump, possibly give them a day or two, let it stabilize, because by day 2 or so, we should see a bit of a stabilization in the price after it dumps massively, because those who want to get out are going to get out in the first day, okay? Maybe the second day if they're not at home, let's say that. Maybe even the 3rd day, okay? But by day 3 from the Take Flight event listing, or sorry, from the Take Flight event distribution, I should say, then you could expect the dump to kind of ease off, at least in my experience, right? When you get these unlocks, it kind of eases off after a while. But then remember, the Crowdloan participants are still constantly selling. okay, because they're getting their own lock. Some of them are holding and staking and only maybe selling the staking rewards. Some are compounding. Different people have different strategies, but the majority of people will want to sell, especially those from the take flight participation, just because they got in at such a low price, right? They're over 20x up now, so you know it's common sense here that you would want to sell at 20x. Nobody's going to hold for longer than that. But I am expecting the price to do well once again after that dump, because those who are waiting on the sides with a lot of money, they know that the take flight participants are going to dump as well. They're waiting for that moment. There are some people in my community who want to buy in as well after the take flight event dump. Okay, I'm thinking to get in myself after the take flight event dump. So a number of people are eyeing this market and are thinking, okay, Glimmer is a solid, like Moonbeam is a solid project. We want to hold the Glimmer token, but not yet. This is not the right time. We got to be patient with this. So that's what I'm saying, right? So I just wanted to cover this in the video to kindly remind you, don't FOMO in. Please don't FOMO in. You will regret it. You can do what you want at the end of the day, right? It's your funds, but you will regret it on the 20th of February when the dump is going to happen. Okay, next, let's talk about Acala here. So Acala, I mean, Acala has been doing quite okay from the listing time, considering that, okay, those people that got into the public sale have received a certain percentage of their tokens and the rest are vested. Okay, so some did sell. Then of course we had the dump here, which I'm not sure if these were just bigger bag holders who were waiting for a few days to see if the price would stabilize and then just decided to say, okay, you know what, I'm selling, and took it down to 150. I'm not sure if this is the case here, but it suffered a dump here from $2, just over $2 to 150. And it looks like it wants to move down even further once again, because it is forming that pattern, that bearish pattern, where it pumped up a little bit after this dump here. It accumulated, it pumped up a little bit to 170 here, 176 in fact, and now it's forming that bearish pattern again. Moving into Monday, you would think we should recover, but it's not always the case. Sometimes if the Sunday is bearish, moving into Monday could be even more bearish. So we could potentially see this bearish trend continue here and possibly go into about 140, maybe even 130. This is a possibility. I wouldn't be surprised to see a $1 ACA before the end of next week. And again, once Acala are going to be doing what they said they're going to be doing, once staking is enabled, I think Acala is going to do well again. I do hold some Acala, okay, from the vested tokens. I have sold the unlocked percentage, and I had some ACA from an event back in 2020. I also sold that. My selling price was actually 244.9. So I'm happy I got out of that price just to take out some profit. I am holding the rest. Obviously, I can't sell. Even if I wanted to sell, I couldn't sell. So I'm holding the rest. I'm just accumulating now. I'm compounding it. I should say not really compounding, but I will be compounding it when we will be able to stake. I'm not looking to sell what I have for the foreseeable future. I'm looking to stake, because especially when they're going to enable staking, I'm expecting some decent enough rewards there. So I am going to be staking. I'm going to be generating a passive income, and I'm not going to sell the staking rewards because there's no need for me to, right? I mean, I don't hold a very large amount after all, so I might as well just stake it. Okay, so I'm curious to get your thoughts. What are you going to do? Let me know in the comments below. Will you be staking your ACA token, or will you be selling? Have you already sold it? What are you going to do with the vested tokens that you're due to get from the Crowdloan? I do think Acala have a bright future, so they are going to be building their product, and with Hi-Fi coming up, I am expecting some great things from Acala. They're not going to be sleeping, right? They are still the best team out there, or one of the best teams, I should say. I would say the pure stake team is probably the best team in terms of development and progress, and then Acala, I would say, is like the second best team. But Acala know how to market themselves, so that's why the hype is with Acala and with Karura. So yeah, definitely the two best projects out there in the Polkadot ecosystem, Acala and Moonbeam, right? These are two that you want to have in your bags. Okay, not financial advice, but these are two that I have and that I'm planning to hold for a longer period of time. It's ones that you could safely sleep on, even if the price dumps, because you know that at some point in the future, they're going to have their moment. And when they have their moment, that's when you're going to be heavily rewarded. Next, let's talk a little bit about Kusama here. So Kusama, even though we got the parachain auctions with Kusama, I know that the hype is kind of worn off now with the Kusama crowd loans. Not as many people are contributing because there just aren't enough crowd loans out there for Kusama, right? There are quite a few. Kabucha is due to launch pretty soon as well. I'm not sure on which auction, but the rest of them are just like not wow, right? There's no wow project out there that could generate some kind of hype. Pontem Nox were supposed to start up their crowd loan, but they had to call that off. So we're going to need to wait a while because there are some regulatory issues with Facebook's blockchain DM. And because of that, Pontem has a big dependency on that. So Pontem Nox, which was supposed to be the crowd loan to launch on Kusama, is no longer going to happen yet. They're reworking their roadmap. That's what I've been told. They're reworking their roadmap. And once they finish with that, they'll let us know what is their next strategy, because they had a big dependency on DM. And I did say this in previous videos, that they've got a big dependency on DM, and because of that, whatever happens to DM, if something is due to happen to them, then Pontem is going to suffer. And unfortunately they're suffering, but thankfully for us potential investors is that we didn't lock our KSM or DOT for them, and then to see this happen, right? Because if that would have happened, that would have pissed us off. Again, not their fault, right? They're just depending on Facebook, and we have to understand that there is that dependency, thus there is that risk. It's not like we can just say, we can't just blame them and say, look guys, you could have developed, but you didn't develop, you abandoned, right? It's not a case. It's a third party that they're depending on. In this case, it's Facebook. So if something happens to Facebook, then Pontem are also screwed, right? So that's pretty much how it is, just to make it clear. Because they're the bridge between Facebook's blockchain to Kusama, and they're also going to build a bridge between Facebook's blockchain and Polkadot with Pontem Network. So Pontem Nox is for Kusama, Pontem Network is for Polkadot. But once they update that roadmap, I am going to be doing a video on Pontem just to see what they're up to and to explain what they're planning to do. And then we'll take a look at the tokenomics and all that information. But for now, there's no point in doing a video. All you need to know for now is that they're a bridge between Facebook and Kusama or Polkadot. So yeah, with Kusama, like I said, it's not doing too well, right? Again, it is Sunday. People are selling. As you can see here, bots are selling. I am expecting Kusama to pick back up, but it's just not its time yet. I think we could potentially see more downward action if Bitcoin goes down. Bitcoin could still go down to 30K. If Bitcoin goes down to 30K, then Kusama, Polkadot, everything else is also going to dump, right? We have to be realistic here. We cannot expect miracles to happen regardless of the crowd loan lockups. But that does actually mean that we do have the opportunity to get in cheaper KSM should you have stable coins when it goes lower, because you will have that extra KSM which you could then use to contribute to the future crowd loans, which may be good. Again, with most of these crowd loans, it is important to sell that initial unlock. That's why I'm personally targeting anything that gives between 20% to 30% at TGE, because that's when the most hype is on. It's in the first 10 to 15 minutes when trading begins. Again, you can get bitten with this should you do it on a bullish market like we've seen with Moon River, when the price has continued to catapult, and we've missed out on that if you sold on the first day like I did. But the majority of them do dump in the coming days, right? So selling on the first day is the wise thing to do here, at least for me personally, and that's what I'm continuing to do with this bearish action. I'm going to do the same with Altair. I like Altair, but I am going to be selling the unlock, right? And I'm going to do the same with BitCountry Pioneer, which I'm eagerly waiting for. Again, the near token. Anything that I'm getting unlocks for, I am selling the unlocks. And I'm doing it because of this bearish action. I'm doing it because I want to cover as much of my lockup as possible, or at least as much of my lockup value, I should say, as possible. And yeah, let me know what you're planning to do. I'm curious to get your thoughts. But that's been it from today's video. I just wanted to quickly give you my thoughts on the prices, to talk a little bit about the fundamentals, what's been going on. And with Pontem, especially with their change of roadmap, it is a bit sad because I was looking forward to that crowd loan, but it is what it is. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video on Monday, when we'll talk about the Polka updates to see what's been going on and what's coming up next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.